occasionally when I call a school to see if they would be interested in hosting, and they say, well, we don't have any money for that. And then I reflect back on my days on school board, right? So we've already established that suicides are up, anxiety is way up, stress is up with these kids, and more resources need to go to help these young students in their daily lives at school. So my frustration was, it's a few $1,000s to get you guys to come into a school and literally going to save lives. That's my account, not yours. But so I've reflect back on school board days when you're balancing the budget, and you know, budgets are tight and there is money. But I recall when the elementary portion of our school got the vinyl tile was tested for 3% asbestos. So once it was flagged, now we were on the hook that it had to be changed. And everywhere they went, they tested each classroom, and it was more and more and more. And what the state had come up with was that we needed to replace all of those tiles and all of those identified classrooms. And it was about $30,000 a classroom. So we're looking down the barrel of a couple $100,000 to replace these tiles. Now, I am not a scientific expert. My mind tells me that if a vinyl tile has 3% asbestos and it's blocked in with wax and protectant, nobody's eating the tile. But every year we had to come up with another 30 grand on this projected room by room to replace these tiles. But they couldn't come up with a small amount of money to actually save a child's life, right? Nobody, I believe, is in danger of a little bit of asbestos sealed in a tile. But yet we haven't been able to shift the thinking towards reallocating some more funds towards these kids that are in real life danger, life-threatening, here today, gone tomorrow danger, versus some of these minor maintenance items in the classroom.
Yeah, you know, and I think that you can make some analogies, and I don't think it's overgeneralizing or catastrophizing, but hopelessness it leads to, we talked about suicide, we talked about homicide even with events like Parkland, and you know, so we started talking about this catastrophic, shocking thing that happens to a community that, you know, just blows people away when someone takes their own life. It's a lot like a stage 4 cancer diagnosis, right? And we're talking about asbestos, and I just think there needs to be a budget line item for hopelessness, right? Because hopelessness leads to that stage 4 cancer situation where someone attempts to take their own life, or someone attempts to take others, or they put together a plan. And as I said, we don't know about all the near misses. We don't know about all the attempts. I can assure you they're there. And again, it isn't my intention to use scare tactics, but you know, and then you could even stretch a little bit further into that analogy of cancer. Is this cell phone, the smartphone, is being referred to by a gentleman by the name of Simon Sinek as the cigarette of this generation, and the cancer is hopelessness that it's creating. So, yeah, I think you're right on there when we start looking at funding and, you know, parent teacher organizations, the PTA or the PTO. You know, for years as a wrestling coach, I would invest in programming to come in on drug and alcohol awareness, and whatever I could do through our booster club, our sports booster club, to support the you know, the whole athlete, not just for, you know, sports, but also the experience of being a good student and having good, strong character.
Yeah, and so many people talk about that, and you know, I think it's. I don't want to ever say it's just a buzz that people say, because I know I could get in a deep conversation, complicated conversation with parents, and they certainly want their kids to have that, those set of values and ethics that we all say we hold dear. But we have a buddy of ours who's big sponsor of ours for Northwestern Mutual, and he made a really profound comment not too long ago that said, you know, we spend millions on these sports complexes and these training facilities. And I remember you telling me your daughter's getting signed up with one of these, and there's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. We're spending millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, I bet billions across the country on these sports complexes. that are largely creating fixed mindset kids. But what are we spending on these other areas? And you know, suicide is the easy one to talk about, not easy as in the issue, but it's the one that jumps out the most. But you know, hopelessness breeds a heck of a lot more than just suicide. The destructive decisions that circle those wagons, it's like luggage, man. That stays with the person forever. You never let it go. You grab onto that suitcase of whatever that self-image that you've developed that's come out of that, and you never let it go. And why aren't we investing more in that? And we say we are, and we say it's important, but are we really making the most important thing the most important thing? Interesting way to think about it.
Yeah. So the sports complexes get all the sizzle and attention, whereas anxiety, depression, and mental illness is not as sexy. So all the money gets allocated for those things.